Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Obviously, I'm in the library trying to find out yet more information how I can. Now, years ago, when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, there was a series of little booklets, little soft ones like this, called Catch More. So it was like Catch More. Catch more barbel, catch more salmon, catch more perch, catch more carp. Everything you want, pikes, all in there. I can't seem to find catch more flounders. In fact, when I got to thinking about it, I thought, what's happening to all the flounders on the south coast? Now, years ago as a nipper, this is a long time ago, 45 years ago, I bet, 45 years ago, when I was fishing down on the south coast a lot, you could go out in the winter and the primary species you would probably catch would be codling, small, whiting, and flounders. In fact, as a youngster, a lot of guys out there of my age would probably cut their teeth shore fishing by catching the flounders. Now, they're just like almost impossible to catch. There are pockets of huge numbers of smallish fish, but the general spread, the general consensus of the south coast around the Isle of Wight area, there's not the numbers there used to be. Now, why is this? I don't know why it is. So, I went on the internet, did a little bit of research. Some of the things that come up there, quite scary. Right, now here are some of the theories on with the binoculars. There's too many seals in the Southampton, Langstone, Portsmouth Harbour areas. Now there's no doubt with conservation etc, the Save the Seal Society if you like it, seals eat a hell of a lot of fish. They eat tons of fish a year. Now they might move in the summer. You think they go summer and autumn and then disappear off somewhere else? No, because it's been made a conservation area. Some of these estuaries, inland estuaries, a conservation area. Wow, Mr. Seal thinks that's lovely, doesn't he? Because it's like Meals on Wheels. He just swims around eating all the bass that we're trying to conserve. So there you go. Too many seals, and that is a big grind, big axe grind for a lot of the anglers. Now, also, that bass conservation area that you get down on the south coast, well, there's so many bass now, what else are they going to eat? Apparently, they have a bit of a preference for little baby flounders. So, the fact that a bass conservation area has been created is at the same time and to the detriment of the flounder population. Aha, another theory for you. A lack of mackerel. Yeah, all fishermen know about this one. Overfishing by the commercials by metric, thousands of metric tons has created a huge lack in mackerel. So there are less predators eating the mackerel. So what the predators turn into might be eating the flounders. Now you might say, a lot of predators don't go down on the bottom eating flounders. Well, I watched a film only recently on the television, must be true, it's on the television, about great white sharks, and they had something like the highest density of toxic chemicals ever recorded in fish. I think it was off the west coast of California. Some of you guys might have seen it. And what were they eating? Halibut? And what a great white shark is doing on the bottom eating halibut, I don't know, but it tells me there's not enough fish in the hierarchy of the food chain further up in the water. So predators will in fact go down to the bottom and target other species. You would yourself, if the supermarket's closed, we're all going to be out walking around the fields with a bow and arrow trying to sort out Sammy the sheep. Right, sewage, effluent, pollution. Yes, well, the south coast of England, around the Isle of Wight area, you have Southampton, you have Portsmouth, you have Langstone Harbour, big harbour areas there. Now, is it sewage being pumped into estuaries, treated or otherwise, that's causing the degradation of the seabed? Or is it the fact that the sewage going in there is creating like a nitrate or a bloom, as it were, of weed that is covering over the mud? Now, this is my personal theory, because I feel the demise of the flounder has actually, I think, coincided with several things there. Bass conservation, making it a bass conservation area, maybe the bass are eating all the baby flounders, and not enough food for the flounders, because in the summer it just blankets with weed. They've got it in Ireland, they had it terrible on the south coast of Ireland. To me, it's getting worse every year. And everybody argues, it's too many houses there, it's the sewage coming in. Other people say, no, it's the farmers' nitrate runoff. Well, I do wonder on the pollution side, because that area, is there a lot of nitrate runoff from fields up around the area that drains into sort of Southampton, Portsmouth? I don't know. Somebody else ought to look into that one. But I feel that blanket weed that covers the mudflats can't do the flounders any good at all. Estrogen in the water via the pill from women. Now, it has been proven that estrogen in the water being discharged into the water via our treatment works is actually changing the sexes of trout. That's fact, that's been proven. Now, somebody said, well, that's got to be happening with the other fish, not just the flounders. But let's say the flounders all turn all male or all female, how they're going to reproduce? You've got a huge stock crash there. So there's another theory. But my actual personal one is, I think it's this weed bloom, but what's causing the weed bloom, I don't know. Anyway, time to go and show you a flounder. I looked in some of the books. There's not much really about flounders as written. And they're a great fish to catch, especially during the winter off the shore. Down off Hayling Island, I fished a place called In on the Beach once, and I think we had 59 flatties in the daylight, 2 of us, and I've heard of huge catches. Now, you could not possibly go there and catch 59 flatties now. It ain't going to happen. So what better place to start an investigation into flounders than an aquarium? So what sort of things have you got in here, Lindsay?
Well, we've got a variety of different animals, mainly fish, starting from sort of native marine animals to tropical marine animals. We've also got a range of amphibians, reptiles, and a family of otters as well.
Oh, really? Yes, yeah. And what have you got on the fishy front? Because this is a fishing show. What sort of things have you got?
Well, out of the native species, we've got some sea bass, which are pretty large. Which I think the biggest ones are about a good 3 feet long now. So
3
in
feet?
pounds, I have no idea what that would be, but they're pretty big.
Yeah.
We also have numerous native skate and ray as well. We've also got some gilt-head bream, some gurnards as well, things like this. A whole range of wrasse, a whole range of different native species, as well as native invertebrates like lobsters, spider crabs, edible crabs, things like this as well.
And on the flatfish front, do they keep well in here in this sort of environment?
They do. We haven't got very many at the moment, unfortunately. It is something we'd love to have more of here, because they always do well in captivity.
Sure.
But at the moment, I think we've certainly got some place in and around there somewhere, but they stay buried a lot of the time in the substrate. But we also did have some top knots, actually, which we got from Cornwall, which I haven't seen too many of. But we definitely like some more. We have had turbot and flounder and various things over the year.
And what's the biggest flatfish you've had in here, or generally in your? Because there's 3 or 4 of these blue reefs around the country, I understand.
Yeah, there's 4. There's us here in Portsmouth. There's Newquay, Hastings, and Tynemouth, just outside Newcastle, as well. So there's 4 of us here. And the biggest flatfish we've ever had here, as far as I'm aware, is a turbot, which was about a good disc size, absolutely huge. But the biggest ones we've had within the blue reef group, there were actually 5 blue reefs for a time.
Yeah.
Because Bristol Aquarium started as a blue reef, and it's now Bristol Aquarium, but it's still exactly the same company, exactly the same owners.
I've got you, yeah.
But when I was there for 6 months. We had some halibut, which came from a fish farm in Scotland, and the biggest ones of those we had were about 4 feet long.
Really?
Absolutely huge.
Oh, that's big. That's big. Well, I look forward to filming something down here, and you're open pretty well all year round here.
Every day except Christmas Day.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. That's great. Okay, I appreciate it very much, and hopefully, if we do get some flounders, we might be able to supply you with some.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Brilliant. I can't actually remember the last time I went to an aquarium, but it's well worth a look at, because it might only be the closest I can get to the fish with the shocking winter weather we have in England. So you've got everything in this aquarium, from the wrasse right through to now. Is that a baby dogfish, or is that a baby bullhuss? And of course you can go through this dome. I've done the ones in Florida where they get sharks swimming over the top. It's still nice to get in that fishy environment and at least see something. And then we get to the flatfish section. Yes, stingrays. and I know exactly how painful those stings are because I've had one driven in my foot. Thornback skater in there as well, so we're in the right area, and we're in with the beautiful undulate ray and those wonderful markings. So I'm still trying to spot. Well, I cannot see the flounders, and indeed there are no flounders even in this aquarium. There are good bass, and there's a really nice big bream, gilthead bream I think those are. Big bream, I'd like to catch some of those, that's for sure. And the proverbial and inquisitive triggerfish with those jaws that can go through a fish hook and snap it in two. And here's more wow, this is one of my best friends, a black tip shark. I believe this one is. I like seeing anything with teeth, but I don't like the next guy. My most feared adversary is a giant moray eel. I think they are disgusting aggressive creatures, and they're perfectly capable of ripping your fingers off. I've seen them do some terrible damage to bonitos when we've been unloading fish in Kenya. And finally, yes, they've even got, I think they're red belly piranhas, these. So they've got everything in the aquarium, well worth a look at, but no flounders. Well, come on guys, it's in South Sea, we're on the south coast, where indeed are those flounders. That's told me something about the flounders or lack of in this area, so now I'm going to pop down. I'm going to go to a place called Warsash and see. I've got a few hours left this afternoon. Weather's closing in, well, it doesn't look like the weather's closing in, but trust me, it will be by tonight, lashing out with rain. See if I just can't catch one of the elusive flounders. Oh, I hate fishing in the winter really, but after seeing all those fish in the aquarium, I've got to give it a shot for the elusive flounder. So I've come up to a place called Warsash, which I believe is up towards the Hamble River. Never been here before in my life, and I'm going to give it a go here. And this is the rig I'm going to be using. A terrible tide is falling down at the moment. It's got about another hour and a half to go down to the bottom of the tide, and then we'll see if anything comes. I've got the turn of the tide coming just about when it's dark, so they might come then, a fresh flow of fish. But at the moment, this is the rig I'm going to be using, the good old-fashioned Wessex rig. Now, flounder fishing is really easy. You don't necessarily need long-distance casting with a multiplier. You can get away with like spinning rods, especially if you're fishing up creeks, up rivers, up estuaries, away from where the main sea is. Well, the main sea, obviously. The main wave action. Fixed ball reel. This is a 9-foot spinning rod. And the Wessex rig, for some of those who've seen it before, basically is one fixed dropper here, quite short there, down to a running ledger at the bottom. Now, you can see that running ledger there. Small bomb, it's only about 2 or 3 ounces, maybe 15 inches, 20-pound line, 2-0 hook and a little target bead there. But what I do like to do, it's a little match tip, is to hook the worm, but don't thread it up by the head. Just leave the head sticking out, and then you can get a little bit of wiggling at the top, a little bit of wiggling at the bottom. And that action during daylight hours might just be enough to turn the flounders on. I say the flounder, because there might only be one. Okay, I'm using just plain ragworm here. It's quite important, especially in the summer, to keep changing the paper to dry them out. You don't want it like it is at the bottom, just there, just starting to get the juice in the bottom, because that, when you get them really wet, they don't live long. And of course, if in the winter it's on the other end, you don't want the moisture freezing, so keep them warm. And they're nice, fresh, wriggly ones. And this is how I hook them up. And I'm using this small one now, purposely because he's wriggling. So normally I would go straight in the head, but come back just about 1.5 inches, thread it on the hook, roll it around up the shank, but just leave. You can pop it over the eye of the hook, but just leave it, just like this. So if you can see that there, you've got a bit of movement here at the top. There you can see the movement at the top, and you can see, if I lay it still, you get movement at the bottom. So it looks like it's a free swimming worm there. And that's the way I like to do it during the daylight hours. I don't think it really matters at night. During the daylight, this little bit of movement here from the top, you can see there, and at the bottom, if I straighten his tail out, that might just be enough to get a bit of action. Now those of you who really enjoy a good laugh might like to enjoy the next sequence at your leisure. I check out the leads, and there is indeed the bottom end of the running ledger of the Wessex rig. There is my ragworm at the top and a ragworm at the bottom. The tide is a falling, I am a chasing it out, and I'm trying to get out that little speck of mud in the distance. And I've never been there before in my life, and my good friend Wayne said don't go up that end, but I've already gone up that end, it's too late. And I'm carefully picking my way amongst a terrible amount of broken glass. I've never seen a beach with so much broken glass on it. Don't know where it comes from, and it gets softer and softer and softer. I'm not stupid, am I? I'm not stupid. Look, I'm looking down, I'm being very careful where I tread, and I'm trying to get to an area where I think there's some gravel in front of me. And there's a couple of holes there, but as I go to cast, yes, get ready for a belly laugh, watch this one. Way splat! Straight down into the mud up to my knees, fall backwards, it's up my coat, my back, the back of my head, everywhere. What a disaster. Do you ever see other fishing presenters do this? But hang on, our intrepid hero, although he's covered in mud, nearly drowned in mud, still managed to cast out into 1.2 inches of water? No wonder he can't catch a flounder to save his life. After that absolute fiasco of falling in the mud at Warsash, I'm going to call it Warsash the Terrible. What a place at low tide, my God. I was lucky to get out with my life. Anyway, you'll hear by the surf and a wide open area behind me that I called it quits. So I'm chasing the tide down the virtual swamp at Warsash, and I feel no flounders are there. I'm struck by the curse of the flounder. So I've come back here down to East Oak Corner, an old stamping ground of mine when I was about 10 years old. I used to come down here bass fishing and catch them. Not so much now though. And used to catch a lot of flounders here. I mean a lot of flounders. So although I'm not up in the estuary, I'm not going near an estuary with that mud again, no way! I've come here, I've got like 2-3 hours at the maximum, but the only bonus is here it's absolute dead low water. Round there it absolutely is dead. Here, even at dead low water, there is an outside chance I might just pick up a flounder like I used to years ago. But an interesting point here is, because of all the big storms we had last winter, where that mud was soft round in Warsash, I've noticed actually all this shingle is soft on the beach here down at Hailing Island. It's all soft, it's moving a lot. Normally it's quite compacted, but they're actually now up there with huge machinery trying to rebuild some of this sea defence here, which is obviously blasted by the last 2013-2014 winter storms. And they've got all the sea defence machinery up there, big diggers, tippers like any boy would like to play with. In fact, if the fishing gets much worse, I want to go and drive one straight off Beachy Head. Anyway, I got the rods out, the baits are in the water, the ragworm are soaking. I can do no more than wait. The sun is setting, it's all looking rosy because these noisy machinery, well, they're going to stop soon when it gets dark, go home, and I'll have the beach with tranquility to myself. Unfortunately, the curse of the flounder is still with me at the moment. Exactly the same rig as I was using, the Wessex rig with a fixed hook at the top, little running ledge on about 15 inches at the bottom. But because I'm out on the open beach now and this storm's coming in, I've got about 6 hours, I won't be here in 6 hours, I can assure you. But the wind's pushing on the line, those small bombs I was using up in the estuary, they're no good now. So I've had to up it to about 4 or 5 ounce grippers, and I've got 2 holding out there and a couple of I put, well, really close in, because sometimes these flounders will come in what they call the littoral zone, which is where it's turned over just inside the waves, and I'm hoping at low water, you know, the big waves from the storms have scoured out a little channel like this, you know, a little cut like that, and about 20-30 yards out there might just be a run of flounders going along the edge of it like this, just where it angles up before it comes up on the main beach. wait for this, those guys of you out there who love a good belly laugh. Because although I've got Wellingtons on, I'm still desperate. I've caught no fish. I'm furious. Wah, I'm going mad. And here comes a wave. Watch this wave. Yes, it's a double booty. It's a double booty. Both legs are now totally soaked. Oh, God. What a disaster. But our hero still wades down there and casts out and then runs back at speed to get away from the waves. Guys, I know exactly what the curse of the flounder, what it is. What's the curse of the flounder? I'm looking at a sunset. Give me a nice sunset, 10 degrees above the horizon. I'm looking here. Oh my God, there's the full moon just rising 10 degrees above the horizon. That means what's happening is there's a gravitational pull over towards the sun and a gravitational pull over towards the moon. That means there is an incredible stretch on the water, the sand, the shore, and of course the flounder's mouth. So it's like this, and it can't get any bait in its mouth. Like that, it can't eat. Once this way, once that way, it's the curse of the flounders. Okay, take my advice. When you see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time, go home. Oh. Nothing. I have to tell you, I have absolutely no problem fishing all on my own, on a beach, on a rock, out at sea. It just is absolutely that exclusivity and that voyage into the unknown. It's like the Starship Enterprise. You're going where no bait has ever been before, and you never know what's out there. Well, it seems like I know what's not out there. Monsieur Le Flounder. I've no idea where he is, but I'm still working away, fishing as long as I can, as many hours as I can get in there, and see if I can't get lucky. Oh my God, it's painfully obvious. It's got dark. Here I am, back again, but look what little beauty I've got here. No, I still got the curse of the flounder, but I'll tell you what, I did get rid of. There, let's get him in the camera light. I got rid of the curse of the whiting. The fighting whiting are biting. Yee-haw. So guys, save the blank there. It's pretty cold out here, but there you go, a nice whiting. I've had a few other bangs, I guess it must be the whiting. So, never give up, never give up. I'm going to give it at least another hour now. The tea's going to be cold when I get home. I'm in trouble, who cares? The curse of the flounder's got me, but I got rid of the curse of the whiting. Yee-haw. Oh yes, we're getting closer and closer and closer. Here is right in the kisser. Here it is. If you can see that, people, yes, it's a flatfish. Now, generally, I find if you can see through the body, it's a dab. But I can't honestly tell in this light, and I think I might just have got, I think a dab's a little bit different. Let me have a look. Let's get this big torch up there. Experts out there, do you know? I'm going to call that, if I shine it that way, can you see the light through it? I just think that might be a dab. But it's a flatfish. I could almost call it a flounder and cheat, couldn't I? Half an hour and I'm going to freeze my bits off. So I shortly will have one more cast. Nice to get one though. And that flatfish was followed by a beautiful whiting. And after this, what happened? Did I go home? Of course I didn't go home, you silly people. I caught another one. And I kept fishing and fishing, as you do when the fish are on the bite. The last thing you want to do is go home. In fact, if the fish are on the bite, I should be there all night.
Consider yourself a fisherman. Just how far do you want to take it? Subscribe to this channel for more awesome videos.
Well, I'm out and I'm still suffering from the curse of the flounder. I have now, well, I think I've got an absolute banger for you. But I'm down on the south coast again. Beautiful bright winter's day. Cold, rain's going to come in. Big band of clouds coming over in. I think that's the weather front that's coming in. But the banker is, there's quite a few guys out trying for the flounders today. There's a competition from the ECA, which is the Eastleigh Cruising Association. It's their fishing section. I think there's about 6 or 8 or 9 guys going out on the little flounder competition today, and they're driving all up and down the south coast trying to find some. So hopefully I'm going to be able to show you a flounder, because I can't find them. They are the most elusive creatures. But I've also got the banker today. I've never fished it before. I'm about 300 yards to the east of South Sea Pier, and there are 10,000 people walking up and down here. There's not many good days you get in the winter when it's beautiful blue sky like this. And it's Britain, it won't last. I think we've got about 4 hours of it before it rains. But it's very pleasant at the moment. I'm looking across at the Isle of Wight, and I have rods plastered everywhere. I've got my flounder rods out there, but I'm also fishing whole squid for, well, cod. What I've done is I've got the squid, I've whipped that on the hook shank, and then I've put a big ragworm on top of that, nicked it once, and then elasticated thread that over the top, so there's a big jumbo bait out there as well. Because you never know here, it's not the world's greatest fishing spot. Everybody keeps walking up saying, have you caught anything, mate? And I say no. They say, I'm not surprised, I've never seen anybody catch anything off South Sea seafront. Now there must be fish here obviously, and they must swim past here. There's a lot of tide running past to the right at the moment. It's supposed to be coming in, and I can't work out why it's going to the right, because surely that's the ebb. But hey, this is Portsmouth, South Sea, that sort of area. The tides have a mind of their own. Well, I'm going to tough it out here, but basically all I'm doing is killing time, because I want to be able to get to the weigh-in at the ECA and see if anybody's got a flounder. Now I know Wayne Comben, the guy I go shark fishing with, he's off on his own, I think. He's gone back to, dare I say the word, the dreaded Warsash, except he is fishing in the right spot. He's gone to the left, I went to the right to fall into the mud. But Wayne's already texted me, he's got one of about a pound, so hopefully he's going to bring it back alive in a bucket, and I can at least show you what the rare, elusive South Coast flounders look like. And hey, I might still get lucky with a big cod as well. Oh, yeah, dream on. Now here's a totally awesome fishing tip if you're going for flounders. If there's a big wave on the water, you want to try and get your rod top higher so it's out of the waves, you don't get those false bites, which are generally down and back and down and back and down and back. But flounders, let's face it, smallish flatfish, if you have a 2 pounder you've got a really nice fish, and they're not going to give a huge bite, they're going to be tapping away. So what you can do on some of these rod rests, this one's a Storm one. It's not a high-end, expensive one. Obviously, you've got the cups down the bottom, and you've got the little, rod holder bits at the top. But a lot of people don't realise you can actually adjust the bottom plate down here, and if you slide that right up, undo that, slide it right up high, you can actually put your rods up a good foot or more, and that might just get you over those waves, and you don't get the full spikes. That way, the only thing you see on your rod top is not the waves banging away. You're higher than the wave, should be just a tap of that elusive flounder bite. Now, I do actually like a bit of what I call different fishing. I have no problem going to a stretch of beach or coastline that I've never even been to before, and I've never even fished off the South Sea. It's the first time I'm basically just killing time while I'm waiting for somebody else to catch some fish. But there was nobody else on the beach. However, you've got to be in it to win it. That's the old saying. And when you go beach fishing, it is a wide open world out there, because it doesn't matter what people tell you that there's never been a fish caught there in the last 40 years. Do not believe them. Always have that little bit of hope. Watch those rod tops for any bite, and I'm sure sooner or later you're going to come up with something really good. With shore fishing, you have to ask yourself, look at the conditions here. Okay, so I'm not catching any fish. It's a fabulous day. I'm out on the beach. I'm not getting bothered by people. They're not all coming up to me. Have you caught anything, pal? Bugging the life out of you. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying myself, even though I'm not catching any fish. Well, okay, I'm not really enjoying myself like that. But look at this day. You've got to really... Well, you've got to marvel at the British weather. It sort of teases us with 1 or 2 good days, and then we get, 15 or 20 bad days. When it's good, it's brilliant to at least be out there on the beach. When it's bad, I'd still rather soon be out there on the beach, even if I'm catching nothing. Well, I'm here in the ECA boatyard, and the shocking news about the curse of the flounders extended to 8 other anglers who caught absolutely nothing in the flounder competition, except Wayne, who has in fact got the only flounder in this competition. And here is our hero. Yeah, with a complete rarity there, Wayne.
Well, I didn't actually catch him out of Langston either. There you go, nice little flounder there, £1.2 he weighed.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, it's still alive, which is nice because I'm just about to release him. Change the water regularly, you can keep them live in the buckets for a little while. But
and what'd you get that one on, Wayne?
Just ragworm, plain ragworm.
Straight ragworm.
Yeah, not cast out very far.
Now, years ago, you'd expect that to be just an average stamp of fish here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that harbour, Langston Harbour, was alive with flounders. Bob here will tell you, he's been fishing a lot longer than I have as well.
Yeah.
And
Portsmouth, Langston Harbour, you could go anywhere and catch flounders.
Especially in the winter. I mean, they are sort of winter beach fishing, inshore fishing.
Just outside the harbour here on the Winter Bank.
Yes.
That's always where the Sex Angling Club had their flounder comp there.
Really? And they'd be getting big numbers there too, would they?
Oh, yeah.
Big numbers, yeah.
Is this area, like Portsmouth and Southampton I'm talking about, would it be known as a big fish area? Like the Devon get the 3-4 pounders, or not really?
I've never had one over £3, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I have seen them bigger.
Yeah.
Well, I can add to that because I was speaking to a fella up here yesterday called Steve Bellinger, who a couple of years back, just off the point there, consecutive casts had one just under £4, one just over £4.
Yeah.
So when the number of flounders that was in that harbour, you were going to get some big ones amongst them, but the general stamp was between probably £1.5 and £2.5. That was the general stamp. But whatever has happened in that harbour, the population has crashed. big style crashed as well.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, the theories are the seals. Well, they do eat a lot of fish, and they're a big animal, and they particularly like flounders. We know that. They're not pumping sewage out the harbour, out the Bud's Wall anymore, and they reckon there's what else was it, Bob? Pumping,
Oestrogen.
yeah, the
oestrogen.
estrogen and
Oh,
stuff like
estrogen
that.
in the water, yeah.
That came out in the sewage pipe. They reckon that might have affected them. It's a bass nursery. Are they taking the fry? Probably a combination of all those things.
And you're going to get this guy back in the water now,
I'll put him
Wayne?
right back right now, actually. Yeah.
At least there's going to be one down here for us to come and catch again.
Hopefully, it's the start of the repopulation of Langston Harbour. Okay, well, there he is. Last you're going to see of him. Hopefully, he'll
Just
at that.
drifted straight off.
beautiful.
Straight.
Beautiful.
Oh, he's just resting there.
Yeah, he'll get his bearings. Obviously, he wasn't caught out of Langston Harbour. He was caught out of Walsash. So I popped him in Langston because they've got a better head than we have. So hopefully he'll survive. He's very strong, nice strong fish, still kicking away very well. I kept changing the water in the bucket, so.
Brilliant. Well done, Wayne.
Yeah, no worries.
And just to say, Wayne is the only one not suffering from the curse of the flounder.
I couldn't resist it, you know, just coming down with those worms. I thought I'd have one last go, I'd have one whiting, and although Wayne had that flounder, I'm still suffering from the curse of the flounder, but I'm not suffering from the curse of the whiting. There we go. And there we go. I couldn't resist it, just having a go last minute, drove all the way to another beach, still trying to catch the elusive flounder to break the curse of the flounder. I can't do it, but thank goodness I haven't got the curse of the whiting. Yee ha, let's get these guys back.